Beneath the ocean lies a deadly paradox, something that seems to defy science. Imagine descending below the surface, dropping deeper and deeper into the everlasting gloom of the sea. Your eyes are wide, but the sunlight has faded long ago. Below you there is only darkness and blackness. Your depth reader suggests you're near the seafloor. So you switch on a light, and there, just beneath your feet, is a shoreline. Ripples quiver over a milky surface like wavelets on a pond. Is this your mind playing tricks on you? How can there be a lake underwater? Carefully you move over it, just above its surface. You scan your light from left to right, trying to make sense of what this strange illusion could be. Its edges are tinged yellow, red, and white. It looks like one of the sulfur pools in Yellowstone National Park, but this is something different. Here, the water is so deadly that most marine animals stay well clear. For those who are unfortunate enough to stumble in, there is no way out. The lake is littered with the bodies of animals who, for some reason or other, entered the pool and became trapped there. But what exactly is this strange phenomenon? How is it possible to have a distinct lake underwater? These underwater ponds are known as lakes of death or brine pools and are rare and highly toxic. They are some of the most extreme environments on Earth and almost totally devoid of life. They are found in just 3 regions in the world: the Gulf of Mexico, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Red Sea. But how did they get there? How are they formed? And why are they so deadly? The truth is, these lakes shouldn't exist, and yet they do. Some are created from ancient salt buried for millions of years, now forcing its way back to the surface. Others form from where the Earth's surface has torn apart, the molten heat bubbling and boiling the water above it, creating something heavy, dense, and unnatural. And this then sinks, collecting in deep depressions on the seafloor, creating the lakes of death. The salinity of this brine can be as much as 8 times higher than the surrounding ocean, so dense that it refuses to mix. It just sits there like a liquid trap, forming its own self-contained underwater lake. But it's not just the extreme saltiness that makes these lakes uninhabitable. They are often packed with methane and don't contain any oxygen. When an animal, such as a fish, enters the pools, this deadly concoction of high salinity, methane, and anoxia is a rapid death sentence. By the time it realizes something is wrong, it's already too late. The fish rapidly suffocates due to the lack of oxygen, and its body goes into toxic shock from the extreme salt. It's not a nice way to go. And they remain pickled in the toxic saltwater mixture for years. With no oxygen, there is no decay. And so the pools become a mass burial ground for hundreds of fish, crabs, and amphipods, each preserved in their final moments. But these unfortunate souls provide an opportunity for others. An unexpected ecosystem. There is an entire ecosystem of life surrounding these deadly pools. Some patrol the shorelines, waiting for an unsuspecting fish to make its fatal mistake. Others use their own biology as an advantage in this inhospitable environment. The edge of these underwater lakes has become a hunting ground for some of the ocean's deep sea creatures. Brine shrimp hover just outside the death zone at the interface between safety and toxicity. Then, when a fish swims over the boundary and becomes stunned by the salinity, the shrimp dives in, grabs it, and makes a quick getaway before the salinity overwhelms it. They have learnt to use the toxic brine pools as a trap to harvest their prey. And they aren't the only ones. Hagfish, famous for the bucket loads of slime they produce, use the same trick. Covered in a thick blanket of slime, acting like a powerful shield, they are momentarily protected from the extreme salinity. When they spot a dying animal in the lakes of death, they rush in and grab it before making a hasty retreat. Yet even stranger than the hunters are the organisms that never leave. Lifeforms that don't need sunlight. Instead, they've adapted to something far stranger. They feed directly on the chemicals pouring from the lake itself, thriving in conditions that should kill almost anything else. These are the deep-sea microbes, and even in the most treacherous places in our world, there is a circle of life. These microbes provide nourishment for others, like the mussels that cling to the rims of these lakes, embedded on the edge of hell itself. They use bacteria to convert methane and sulfur in the toxic water into energy so that they can thrive, helping to solidify the lake walls, holding the toxicity in. Because if the lake walls collapse, then it could spell disaster. Overspills do happen, and the water that rushes out into the surrounding ocean embalms anything in its path. Perhaps most unsettling about these poisoned underwater lakes is how alive they seem. They appear harmless, and unless you knew any better, it would be tempting to step into one. The lake beds can form beaches, steep banks, even winding shorelines that resemble river deltas on land. The ripples on the surface look like gentle waves on a freshwater lake. In some pools, the boundary is so sharp it looks as though someone has drawn a line across the seabed, separating two different worlds. Cross that invisible threshold, and everything changes instantly. There is no warning, no ripple to signal the danger. One moment, it's just water. The next, it becomes something else entirely. A boundary that cannot be seen, but once crossed, cannot be undone. Down here, the rules are different, and mistakes are final. But it isn't just the strange mix of sea organisms that have managed to survive in such an inhospitable environment that has fascinated scientists. A natural time capsule. These deadly pools are even more unsettling, because environments like this may be where life on Earth first began. Not in sunlight, not in safety, but in places like this. Toxic, dark, and completely alien. And that's not all. These deadly lakes give us even more understanding about the history of our world. In these pools, nothing rots, nothing disappears. Layers upon layers of sediment is sealed beneath the toxic surface, untouched for centuries. Each layer provides a glimpse into the past. A moment frozen in time like a natural time capsule. Tsunamis, floods, earthquakes are all recorded beneath the lakes of death. So, these impossible lakes, hidden in the darkest corners of the ocean, are far more than deadly traps. They are graveyards and hunting grounds, alien worlds where life and death exist side by side in a fragile balance. They preserve the past, reveal the origins of life, and challenge everything we think we know about how ecosystems survive. In a place where no lake should exist, nature has created one of its strangest contradictions. A toxic underwater shoreline that kills in an instant, yet may hold the secrets of how life itself first began.